Well, let's talk about various third positionists on the internet. It's funny. It's funny because they're all eating themselves up. It's becoming like what happened um, with the various communist groups, basically, between Marxists and Dengists. Except now we're seeing the third positionists, in the conflict between uh, Russia and Ukraine. Basically, the various third positionists are trying to find out about more historical fascist movements in Ukraine, and they're discovering, the OUN and Stepan Bandera, and they're all coping. They're all coping. Now, I myself am not a fascist. I myself am not a Banderite. But if you're going to claim that you're a third positionist, because reminder that I'm still working on a video about the organization of Ukrainian nationalists, that I am reading, all of the theory. I'm reading Siborsky, I'm reading Stetsko, I'm reading articles about like various various people. I'm going to try and get the book on Dontsov, which was written by his grandson. And basically, the third positions do not realize that the main goal of the more radical branch of the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists was to have a Ukrainian state. So they were basically all coping, saying, oh, well, look, Bandera was a traitor to the Axis, he was a traitor to the movement. And it's very funny, they're eating themselves up. They're eating themselves up. Between people who support, basically just the three great Axis powers, maybe some of the allies, maybe like Hungary, maybe Romania, and the people who basically just encompass and support all of the fascist movements, regardless of who they are. Maybe they'll make like some exceptions for Lehi, I don't know, but regardless, they're basically falling into this sectarianism, and it's very funny. It's very funny to see that basically the Russo-Ukrainian war is taking all these major alternative ideologies, fascism, Marxism, Leninism. Now it's basically like these Dengists, and they're just showing that they are just pawns of the status quo. They just follow like status quo politics. They're stuck in this duality, and it's very funny. It's funny, but it's sad in the same time. Because you realize that these people basically have like some, or at least I assume, that they have some principles, some honor at least, but no, they're basically just married to their abstract ideology, their abstract movement. The Marxists will say, "Oh, well, we're here to talk to the working class and make a proletarian movement," but they're stuck inside of like this, this dogmatism. They'll bring up capital. They'll keep quoting like Capital or the Communist Manifesto or Lenin or whatnot. And the fascists is the same. Like they'll say, "Oh, well, we're nationalists," but they'll say, "Oh, but no, you can't sway away, and you can't like get away from the party line. You can't sway away from the current objective written in this book or this pamphlet or this leaflet." And it just shows that these alternative ideologies, because of and we needed to have like a full-scale conflict in Europe to show that these people are just stuck in this dumb status quo dualism, and it's ironic. It's ironic because they love to say, because they love to attack the left wing, saying no, it's just the second side of the liberal coin, and they'll attack like Anglo-liberalism. They'll even attack people like me. Sometimes they'll attack people like me who are like left-wing nationalists. They'll attack left-wing nationalists as well, saying, "Oh, well, you're not a real nationalist," and so on and so forth. But I mean, we're seeing people like who basically read about what happened in basically a couple of months leading to the occupation of the Eastern European lands by Nazi Germany. And they read basically what happened with the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, how Bandera was actually here to make a genuine Ukrainian state. And they say, "Oh, but look, Wait, he wanted like a Ukrainian state. Then we arrest him because basically the Germans wanted that land and so on. And then basically, yeah, the Ukrainians revolted. Basically, the OUN kind of dropped the ideology and just became like a partisan guerrilla war resistance movement against the perceived enemies of Ukraine. You can think of what you want about like the Banderites. I'm not a Banderite, so I'm not here to preach their stuff. You can think whatever, but I mean, it's funny. It's funny for the people who claim to be nationalists. Basically get pissed off at people who genuinely espouse like some form of genuine nationalism, while the so-called like third position nationalists are just married to their abstraction. Yeah, I think I made my point. I'll stop here and enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, hopefully you'll get that more like small video on the Ukrainian left that I'm doing. Hopefully it'll be done soon, maybe by this weekend, I don't know. But anywho, yeah, I hope you stick around and yeah, see ya.